Today I fucked up by believing I was severely underweight and spending more than a year panicking because of it. 17m and 5 feet 11 inches. Kinda awkward, still. So I live in a flat that has a shared room on ground floor that residents can use. Inside that nearly empty room lies an old weight scale. Note, I haven't weighed myself in ages, so this was surprising to find. I discovered this scale just over a year ago, so when I just turned 16, on my way back home and measured myself, 53 kilograms. Obviously I wasn't happy with my weight and wanted to gain some more. So for the past year, I've been measuring myself daily, and I became even more frustrated when I moved up by only 1.5 kilos on my 17th birthday. I tried changing my diet. I began eating 5 meals a day and still there was no change. At this point, my insecurities were at boiling point. I was already skinny enough and I had, and still have, a high metabolism rate, so this ludicrous weight of mine was very easy to believe. I actually considered going to the doctor to see what was up until yesterday afternoon. I signed up for gym, 100% determined to hulk up and kiss goodbye to my pathetic appearance. While I was doing my sets, I noticed 2 electronic weight scales at the opposite sides of the gym that looked like they were just bought the day before. I thought, why not? And nervously went to check my weight again. I gulped and stepped on the scale with my 2 feet. 72 kilograms. 72. I was utterly perplexed. So perplexed that I ran to the other scale near the door to the ladies' dressing room and practically jumped on it. It read exactly 71.8 kilos. You can imagine the surprise and the relief I had on my face, almost like all the worry and insecurities I was carrying on my back dissipated at once. Turns out that the old scale in my flat was partially broken and often had whack measurings. All this worry for nothing. Stupid, silly me. Madness. Too long didn't read. Used old weight scale in my room which underread my actual weight by 20 kilos, spent whole year panicking only to find out the thing was broken yesterday and that I'm actually average weight. As others have pointed out, everybody is different, so don't judge yourself based on others. I am 19, have very broad shoulders, a tad over 20 inches / 60 centimeters edge to edge. Am 6, 183 centimeters, weigh 232 pounds, 105.23 kilograms, and work out regularly and am a strong guy. But for the past 5 years of my life my doctor has told me I was overweight and that I need to lose weight because my BMI is 30. I have weighed the same for the past 3 years thanks to keeping a good diet and exercising, and that is something I am very proud of. So I wish you the best in keeping your weight healthy and your stress levels down. I find it interesting that you relied on a scale. Look in the mirror, son. Look at and or talk to your friends, girls and boys. Unless you are insecure as to whether your face is good looking, you are fine. Think you should be confident. Man, I feel you, but I'm 19 and only weigh 52 kilograms, so yeah. But this is due to my high metabolism, so I still have to eat a lot to gain weight. But mine is not to F you. What is your height though, because it's directly proportional to having an average weight. Oh, I'm 180 centimeters, 5'11". 100 kilograms, 5 feet 8, chunky boy here. Be happy dude, you're young, fit and healthy. Sounds like you have a great metabolism and are at a decent weight, so all you need to do now is become comfortable in your own body. No matter if you were under or over, it doesn't diminish or define who you are. You're awesome, and fuck being insecure about anything, we're all different. Thanks for the kind words bro, heart. Today I fucked up by using lube shampoo mixture as lube for months, which gave me PID, almost made me infertile, spent a week inside the hospital, thought that my BF cheated on me. This happened around 2 years ago and I just thought it was a good idea to share this here to you guys also as a precaution so that you guys wouldn't do the same mistake that I did, ha ha ha. I bought a mini-sized travel bottle that I used for storing my personal lube in. It had no labels whatsoever, it just looked like a plain squeeze bottle. It was cheaper that way, plus it was more convenient. So one day, I accidentally left my lube bottle at home while I went out. I assumed that someone, probably one of our house cleaners, found my bottle and thought that I placed shampoo in that thing. Bottle was half empty, because when I returned home, I found that someone placed shampoo inside my bottle. To confirm this, I smelled it and the liquid already looked whitish. I know my shampoos. I was kinda distraught about it, but I was like, this is okay, I'll just pour everything out, wash the inside of the bottle with water and I could just use it for lube again. So I did exactly that and I just proceeded with my day. It went downhill from here. So I used the lube with my boyfriend for smexy times. At first, I didn't any kind of discomfort whatsoever, but as months passed by, I noticed that every time we do the deed, my choo-choo gets stingy painful. At first it was bearable and I thought it was just because we didn't use enough lube. I'm kinda small so it was pretty common for us to use lots of lube, but it came to the point that it wasn't bearable anymore and that's when we got worried. We didn't really take action to check what was up because it would usually fade after we had sex. So a few more months came by. Pain got worse and suddenly I started peeing blood and my choo-choo got extremely painful. It clearly wasn't normal anymore. I kept feeling like I had the urge to pee, but every time I peed, it really hurt and I just pee blood, so I called my mom, literally crying because of the pain, and to the hospital I go. A few tests and crying later they told me I had an infection in my vag, and soon they diagnosed me with PID, pelvic inflammatory disease. During this time I didn't know what caused this, so I assumed it was my hygiene or something until I asked my doctor what caused this. She said most cases it's usually sexually transmitted because it was a kind of STD, and in some rare cases, it was because of hygiene, bacterial infection, etc. Hearing that, I was filled with anxiety because the only person that I was doing it with was my BF, so I was already suspecting that it was him and he caught it from someone else. Thankfully that wasn't the case, smiley face. He got tested and he was clean, and he also told me that he didn't cheat on me, so, woman shrugging. So the only other way I got that PID was from bacterial infection. So that's when I remembered about my shampoo lube bottle situation. Apparently shampoo is kind of hard to get rid of in a squeezy tube even with water, so it got mixed with the lube that we've been using for months and it gave me PID. Doctor also told me that PID can make me infertile because PID can cause scarring inside my tubes which can block my tubes. I was already peeing blood, so that wasn't a good sign at all. But thankfully in my case, my tubes were going to be fine. After further inspection there wasn't that much damage. They made me stay in the hospital for a week and treated me with antibiotics through my blood to cleanse off the infection. It sucked. TLDR, someone refilled my lube bottle with shampoo, cleansed the bottle and replaced the shampoo with lube. Used that thing for months. Didn't know it still had shampoo leftovers, so it was a shampoo lube hybrid. Gave me severe infection which I thought came from my BF through STD. Infection almost made me infertile. Peas. I'm sorry if my grammar sucks. English isn't my first language. This was so painful to read, but I'm glad you were able to recover. And this is why I keep any lube stuff in the containers it came from. I've read/heard stories of cross-contamination, so I always fear something like this happening. I think this is a lesson that things like lube that go inside your body should be restricted to the containers they are originally packaged in to prevent contamination. I'm still surprised such a trace amount of shampoo could do that. Perhaps the bottle was contaminated in other ways too and far from sterile. I've never heard anyone ever call their cooter, coochie, or vagina choo-choo, and now I'll never call it any different. Lamau. The train has pulled in your station, choo-choo. Where do you live that you have multiple housekeepers? I suppose it must be a country with cheaper labor, or you're very rich. Today I fucked up by letting my dog outside. This just happened a few hours and I still feel bad, while at the same time I also keep having little laughing fits, like humor aftershocks. And NBSP, oh, I have a pit bull/lab mix named Fiona. She's an absolute sweetheart of a pup but isn't spayed and has, well, messy heats. I put washable doggy diapers on her to keep any mess contained and only take them off when she goes outside to do her thing. And NBSP, Fiona's heat is coming to an end and she'd been running around without a diaper for most of the day. She'd had a tiny bit of, well, dripping going on towards evening, so I'd put her diaper back on. And NBSP, I was distracted, working on a project when my roommate asked me to let the dogs out. I let her English Springer out first, then traded him out for Fiona once he was done, not really thinking about it, then I let them back in. And NBSP, my mistake became quickly apparent when my roommate asked me, did you remember to take her diaper off before you let her outside? And NBSP, I looked over and my poor dog. Her diaper was sagging down to the floor. She'd done everything in it and looked so confused. It was both one of the most day I fucked up and funniest things I've ever seen. And NBSP, I hurried to get the demolished diaper off my poor dog and accidentally dumped its contents straight into my roommate's left sandal in the process. And NBSP, folks, I haven't laughed that much in years. My roommate kept making it worse with little joking comments too. My dog was pooped and looking sheepish, my floor got pooped, her sandals got pooped, and I could barely clean any of it up. I was laughing so hard. And NBSP, I definitely learned to double check for a diaper before I let her out in the future. Let me tell you, what a dumb and funny accident. And NBSP, too long didn't read, I forgot to take my in-heat dog's diaper off before I let her outside to poop. She ended up a horrible mess, it fell into my roommate's sandals, and I was almost laughing too hard to clean it up. Dog tax please! Exclamation mark. There's a whole song about this! Exclamation mark. Why don't you get your dog spayed? Toss the pupper a treat. I'm sure even dogs know shit happens. She got all the treats. Poor thing. Oh, that sounds all too familiar here, smiley face. Luckily mine is fixed now, so I don't have to worry about poop diapers because of a shitty memory.